Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Wouldn't you know it? It would appear as if the United States Army is actually back at looking like the United States Army. Recruiting commercials have returned to normal. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't be any happier. How you guys doing? Good Monday morning. Today, February 17th, 2025. Hold my Quran. That's right. Smash the like button. It definitely looks like war is about to return to Gaza. And when I say war is coming back to Gaza, I have this strong, sneaky suspicion that it is going to literally be hands across Gaza. I'm talking, and if you've never served in the military, hands across anything means that we're going up fingertip to fingertip, and we're walking on line until we get back what it is we're looking for. And in this case, it's going to be all those hostages. We're going to explain all that and a hell of a lot more coming up in today's episode. But as we continue to sit here and wait for some more folks to roll in here, I've got this video that I want to show you guys. This video right here is Nigerian paratroopers. Enjoy. Enjoy the Nigerian paratroopers looking like hell. Bad exit video plus some pretty rough landings.
Fit and knees together! 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 What? It's like you lose control. Why are they even doing this stuff?
Colin F wants to know if I've ever played video games. Yeah, you know, I used to play a lot of video games. He says it's a good way to keep your mind busy while going through divorce. I'd totally agree with you. If I had the time to play video games, I would. But literally, like, all of my time is taken up right now. I've got a lot of different things on my plate, a lot of things I haven't told you guys about, and some of the things that I have. And so if I have time, yeah, I mean, I would easily get back into playing video games. But the truth is, I'd rather build an empire right now than play video games. And I'm going to continue to build that empire. By the way, if you've ever accidentally jumped out after the light turned red, don't forget to smash the like button, and you better subscribe to this channel because it's, I mean, Jump Master will tell you don't go, but I mean, yeah. And the winds are always at like what, 10 knots? Yeah, my ass. This is probably one of my other favorite videos that ended up coming out. This is just some good general, get the morning, get your blood flowing. It's Monday morning, just skip your blood and everything else going stuff. Jerry Seinfeld really cares about Palestine.
Jerry, can I get a selfie?
Sure.
Free Palestine!
I don't care about Palestine.
Chris, are you saying amen because the winds are always at 10 knots, or are you saying amen because I've got better things to do, like building an empire? And if none of you guys know what I'm talking about, it's inside joke. I'd say inside joke. Here's something that's not an inside joke though. Came across this several times. I saw open source intel actually put it out early this morning. Very reliable source. But I want you to check this out. These people that you're about to look at, they are the Egyptian paratroopers. Right here, Egyptian paratroopers. And wouldn't you know it, they're using gliders. And where have we seen gliders before in the past? And like, how blessed are they, by the way? Like, just throw this out there for all the paratroopers that are in the house today. How blessed are they to have like drop zones that look like that? Like, how blessed are they for that? Oh man, good on him for taking the objective of the frickin' antennas. Chris Hincliffe coming in and gifting us Speak the Truth membership. Somebody asked me if I plan on heading over to Ukraine soon. I've got a lot of things to sort out in my personal life, but once those are sorted out, I plan on making a trip to both Ukraine and to Israel. So I'm going to be making a trip to Ukraine and to Israel once all of this crap is sorted out. I'm going to have plenty of time on my hands, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. And so, by the way, I'm just going to put this out there because we got people walking through the open area. Now, clearly, this is some sort of a demonstration or anything like that, but you see them like moving, walking tactically and everything else. Like, I will tell you, uh-oh. And hopefully I'm still streaming here. I was having a little bit of an issue in Streamlabs, but I will tell you this. If you've ever been to tactical training and they tell you like certain speeds, walking, shooting, all this other crap, and how quick is it that you should actually be moving? How quick is it? All of this stuff. In combat, you have two speeds. Speed number one is moving as fast as you can shoot accurately, and speed number two is all out, balls to the wall, as fast as you can go over. Those should be the two speeds that you're moving. Those two right there. And no faster than as quick as you could possibly shoot accurately. So I'm glad you guys have that. But for some reason, when I was doing training, that was always a question that I would get asked a lot. And it's like, those are your two speeds. You have two speeds, balls to the wall or just slow down. The nurses and stuff like that. I did not get to watch this video, and it's a little bit long. So maybe I'll save this one for the end. So let me go ahead and move that up out of the way and get that out of our stack. Now let's get to this video that's coming out of Ukraine. This video coming out of Ukraine is, yeah, I want to say it's a little bit rough to watch, but it's going to explain to you why motorcycles are not good frontline combat vehicles.
Слазь. Ты чё въёбываешься в меня, блядь? Разбегаемся быстрее. Да ты выеблаешь, что ли, нахуй? Тихо. Скинь его, давай, вставай быстрее. Давай, быстрее. Прячемся куда?
So James O'Rourke comes in giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Now, I will let you know that motorcycles absolutely could be good use in combat if you're using them correctly. So the quicker you end up going, the less pressure that's going to be felt by those mines. It's just kind of like basic physics. It's what allows a motorcycle to just haul ass. And if you've never seen it before, like motorcycles on water, I don't know. Let me get this up. I actually didn't even think about this until I just watched that video, and I was like, well, I guess I gotta show you guys like what rednecks do with their free time. Yeah, you can actually drive a motorcycle across water. A lot of people don't know that, like dirt bikes. Here you go. This looks like what he's about to do. Let me make sure this is the right one. Nope, it's not. It's just a guy doing anything crazy. But you can go look it up. You'll see people like hauling butt up over towards like lakes and things like that. And when they hit the lake on their motorcycle, it literally allows them to skim like right across water. Same concept applies if you're over driving those things. So if you are in the front line, you want to get rid of like, you know, that type of ability, you have to use speed in conjunction with them in order to keep yourself safe. Now, hostages ended up getting released this weekend over inside Gaza, but Trump and Netanyahu very famously last week said they wanted all of the hostages released, and they weren't. They weren't. We got the 3 that was previously arranged, but that's not what we said. And people can sit there and they can whine and complain all that they want, but at the end of the day, we have zero obligation. As a matter of fact, it is directly against the United States of America's policy to negotiate with terrorists. 100%. It still is. People, for some reason, have forgotten about that. Trump got asked why he is sending weapons to Gaza. Why is he sending or not to Gaza? Why is he sending weapons to Israel when they're doing all of these negotiations? And he comes up with this answer, and I want you to listen to this answer because it's going to be important.
Peace through strength. You understand that, right? It's called peace through strength. You know, they contracted for those weapons a long time ago in the Biden administration, and then Biden wouldn't deliver the weapons. But I look at it differently. I say peace through strength. They were sitting there. Nobody knew what to do with them. They bought them. But I believe in that very strongly.
Jonathan coming and asking, any reason a Russian special flight squadron is heading to Riyadh? Dude, I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, I am not aware of that. I wasn't tracking that. I will get on that, though. James O'Rourke came in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, brother. So peace through strength. That's what we've been pushing and we've been talking about this whole time. That's what Trump kind of like ran his presidency on. And that's something that I've said many times on this channel. If we are going to be doing anything over there, the only thing that they understand is absolute absolute might. Now, last week I had made mention that there was a big rumor going around that pretty much a buttload of IDF troops were being stacked up on the Gaza border. And it's now got to the point where all of the reserve troops, it sounds like, have also been called back from reserve duty status, and nobody's allowed to go anywhere. And so Israel right now is preparing for war. Texas Actual coming in, gifting out 50 Speak the Truth memberships. If your name's not green by the end of this live session, there's a problem. Maybe you need to come back. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notification bell on, because only 8% of you suckers actually do. Turn it on. I'll go back and check up at the end of this week, and hopefully we're back at 10, 15, 20% to where you guys have your notification bells turned on. I love you guys to death. Now, Netanyahu and Marco Rubio ended up having a press conference yesterday and did some talking, and there was a lot of things that ended up coming out of it. So not only do we have everybody that's building up over on that border, not only do we have everybody building up over on the border of Gaza, we have the troops that are getting called back in, and I'm about to show you here in just a little bit a bunch of bombers that are moving down into the area. So you wait for it. We're going to go over this press conference here and just listen. We're going to start going over this press conference.
I want to assure everyone who's now listening to us, President Trump and I are working in full cooperation and coordination between us. We have a common strategy, and we can't always share the details of this strategy with the public, including when the gates of hell will be opened, as they surely will if all our hostages are not released until the last one of them. Israel is determined to achieve all the war objectives we set after the horrific attack on October 7th, the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. We will eliminate Hamas's military capability and its political rule in Gaza. We will bring all our hostages home, and we will ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
The gates of hell, ladies and gentlemen, they are literally planning on opening up the gates of hell if all the hostages are not released, and they give them a deadline. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to think about this. They had the opportunity. They were told what to do. They were told to release all of the hostages by this weekend, and unfortunately, hey, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear your freaking heebie-jeebie stuff. All of the hostages were supposed to come out this weekend, but not all of them did. Right? We got some back, but not all of them. And truthfully, the hundreds of freaking terrorists that we're exchanging in return for them, quite frankly, is unsat. And it shouldn't have ever happened this entire time, but it was allowed to happen. So, knowing that the gates of hell are about to be opened up, knowing that the IDF is currently stacking up, knowing that the reserves are getting called back, what do you think is about to happen over inside of Gaza? What do you guys think? Knowing that Trump is releasing a buttload of weapons back to Israel, what do you think is about to happen? They are doing their last bit behind the scenes, release them or else situation, because war is coming. Now, and I said this before, Cam E coming in, gifting out 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Said it before. Hamas has zero incentive to release the hostages other than public perception. That's really it, public perception. But we all know they're full of crap anyways. The people that believe, believe. The people that don't. And that's how it's going to be. So they've got zero incentive to turn those hostages over, because one way or another, Israel's coming in. They're going to come in. Now, if Israel comes in and they release the hostages, and it's not giving them carte blanche to go in and carpet bomb the whole area. They're never going to do that. That's just not who they are. But what they will do is make sure that every single last person inside of Hamas is dead. And they're going to have to clear the hell out of Gaza, and they're going to have to do it properly. Now, in order for them to clear it out properly, they can't be taking their freaking sweet time with it. They just can't. And you have U.S. government officials right now that have completely flipped the script, have completely turned the table. Look at these two freaking women of power within Trump's cabinet, and look at the message that they're sending just with that photo. I don't have to say anything about it. I don't need to just look at it. Austin White coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Luxury Music came in asking a question, and for some reason it jumped off my screen, so now I have to go back to it. Says, do you think the buildup of Egyptian tanks on the border of Gaza in Sinai is consequential? Is consequential. Yeah, I think they're doing it for a reason. If you want my personal opinion, I think they're doing it for a reason. I think Egypt is well aware of everything that's going to be going on. I think Egypt is well aware of what's going on, and I don't think Egypt is going to be happy. I think Egypt is going to be held to a different standard across the Arab community. But like I said, Egypt, in my opinion, can be controlled through, how do you want to say it, financial incentives. And if need be, militarily, they will most certainly be controlled. You saw their training video. It's a joke. Egypt will be controlled if need be, but I don't think it will need to. I think they will end up backing down. I think they're posturing to try to save face in the Arab community right now. That's my personal opinion. Texas, Matt, look at the last message on X. Before 3 weeks release and when people go, yeah. I will go take a look at that in a sec. Yeah, and I mean, Hamas, dude, Hamas released some stupid, and I mean some stupid propaganda photographs and all of that crap. Some very stupid propaganda photographs not that long ago. Oh, geez.
Hamas went all out. They printed new posters
Texas,
literally bragging about how quickly they invaded Israeli communities and slaughtered civilians, complete with red triangles marking their murderous route. And just above that, a not-so-subtle message about migrating to Jerusalem featuring none other than Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind of October 7th, mythologized as some kind of self-sacrificing hero leading the way to Palestinian control of the Dome of the Rock. Hamas operatives dressed in stolen IDF uniforms, signature hats included, and proudly showcased Israeli weapons. And if the goodie bags they've handed out to past hostages weren't twisted enough, this time they gifted hostage Sagi Dekel Chen a gold coin to mark the birth of his daughter while he was held captive. Hostage Yair Horn was handed something to pass along to Einav Zangauka, the mother of hostage Matan Zangauka, who's been a key figure in the fight to bring the hostages home. The gift? An hourglass, sitting on a plinth with his picture and the words, "Time is running out." See, today, Hamas was on a mission to remind Israelis, even as they celebrate the return of the living, that they remain strong and empowered, just waiting to strike again. And while the international media ignored most of this pathetic display, we, like so many Israelis, certainly didn't.
Yeah, Texas, thanks for sharing that, man. That is a pretty dang powerful video, and it's very valid. And I talked about a lot of the Hamas propaganda and stuff that took place on the last one, and I didn't look at it that way this time because I just didn't care, because I know it's going to exist, and I don't care to promote the propaganda. And I've been sitting here day in, day out for the last year and a half speaking out against Hamas and what giant piles of garbage they are. So if you follow this channel, there's a very high probability that you know that Hamas are giant pieces of garbage. But it's not going to exist very much longer. It's not. I want you guys to listen to these statements from Marco Rubio at the press conference with Netanyahu.
Mr. Prime Minister, it is an honor to be back here. I've been here many times before as an American visiting, and then as a member of the United States Senate, but now for the first time as the Secretary of State of the United States, and it's an honor to be here. And it's an honor to serve in this role on behalf of President Donald Trump, who, as you've accurately stated, Mr. Prime Minister, is a tremendous friend of Israel. There's been no stronger ally for Israel in the White House than President Trump. He's also a man that speaks clearly and unambiguously and makes clear his views on issues. The first he's made clear is, and as you've pointed out, and the hostages need to come home, they need to be released, and you work in very close coordination with him.
Thank you,
He's working in very close coordination.
Thank you.
But with the Prime Minister and his government in ensuring that happens. That must happen. It's not optional. And would add that that's a goal we share in common, and that is something we work on very closely together. The President's also been very bold about his view of what the future for Gaza should be. Not the same tired ideas of the past, but something that's new, bold, and something that frankly took courage and vision in order to outline. And it may have shocked and surprised many, but what cannot continue is the same cycle where we repeat over and over again and wind up in the exact same place. Related to that, the President...
That statement right there, ladies and gentlemen, that statement right there. What cannot happen is repeating the same cycle over and over again, because that's what's been happening for the last year and a half. I'm just going to call it a year and a half at this point. That's what's been happening. And again, you have all the Israeli troops stacking up. You have all of the assets being released over to Israel that the U.S. should have been doing in the first place. You have the Secretary of State over there speaking. It's about to get real. Brian Hudson coming in, gifting out 5 speakers.
The president's been very clear. Hamas cannot continue as a military or government force. And frankly, as long as it stands as a force that can govern, or as a force that can administer, or as a force that can threaten by use of violence, peace becomes impossible. They must be eliminated. They must be eradicated.
Now, not only do we have the Prime Minister, now we have the U.S. Secretary of State saying that they must be eliminated in Jerusalem.
On the broader issues that we discussed as well is the questions in Syria. And while the fall of Assad is certainly promising and important, if Syria replacing one destabilizing force for another is not a positive development. And that is something that we will watch very carefully as we seek to craft our own strategy with regards to how to approach the events in Syria. In the case of Lebanon, our goals are aligned and the same. A strong Lebanese state that can take on and disarm Hezbollah. The common theme in all of these challenges is Iran. It is the single greatest source of instability in the region. Behind every terrorist group, behind every act of violence, behind every destabilizing activity, behind everything that threatens peace and stability for the millions of people who call this region home.
Bam. How many powerful statements can you pack into a 5-minute freaking speech? Yeah, I saw it down in the comments. I forget your name. I'm sorry. Great name, dude. He asked Flash. He says, do you disagree they should not be wiped out? No, they absolutely need to be wiped out. I do think Israel possesses more than enough capabilities in order to do it on their own, and they don't need the U.S.'s help in order to do it. Where they need the U.S.'s help, where it would benefit Israel, is to make sure that Iran and Hezbollah get kept at bay. And I don't even think that they really need the U.S.'s help to keep Hezbollah kept at bay, but I would like to see some U.S. air support for troops along the northern border. But when it comes to Iran needs to seriously be put in check. And the Secretary of State of the United States of America just clearly stated it. And I want you to remember that statement when I show you what's moving down into the Middle East in just a couple minutes.
Is Iran. And by Iran, I mean the Ayatollahs. By Iran, I mean its regime. A regime who, by the way, its people don't support. The people of Iran are victims of that regime. And so I think it's important to constantly point that whether we talk about Hamas, or we talk about Hezbollah, or we talk about violence in the West Bank, or we talk about destabilization in Syria, or we talk about any of these issues, the militias in Iraq, they all have behind them one common theme: Iran. And that must be addressed. And there can never be a nuclear Iran. A nuclear Iran that could then hold itself immune from pressure and from action. That can never happen. The president's been clear about that as well. And so I close where I began by reiterating our strong support for our allies, very close allies and partners here in Israel, to the people of this great country, for whom we have tremendous love and respect for everything you're facing, have faced, and continue to face. It is an extraordinary story of bravery. A nation founded in the ashes and in the aftermath of a horrifying crime against humanity, stood from its very inception, from the very day of its birth, against threats from every angle and every...
Now, I could care less about the political, Peter suckering going on back and forth right here at the end. Yeah, Israel. It's pretty simple. I don't think Marco Rubio needs to state that. He can simply say Israel has a right to exist and a right to defend itself, period. That's all he needs to say. Yes, was it founded after World War II? Absolutely. Did they face an absolute freaking genocide? Absolutely, Jewish people did. That's all he needs to say. He doesn't need to go on forever talking about it. But I will tell you this, when he goes up and he starts talking about Iran and them not being allowed to become a nuclear state, what do you think the odds are at this point that Iran has developed enough enriched uranium to make a nuclear warhead? I put that number pretty high. So does the IAEA. And I guarantee you that U.S. intelligence puts that number just as high, if not higher. Very, very high. That they've been capable of developing enough enriched uranium at this point in order to have a nuclear weapon. And there certainly is enough intelligence reporting that has been leaked publicly that suggests they have warheads and ballistic missiles that are capable of carrying nuclear warheads. This is not Iraq 2.0. That's not what this is. This is a radical regime that has destabilized the entire region through its proxy forces, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, and a lot more, to be honest. And they're nuclear capable. And they have chanted death to America. They've chanted death to Israel. They do not care. They don't. It's a religious ideology. It is a belief. And you cannot kill a belief, but you can kill a person. These are facts. Donald Trump understands that. Netanyahu understands that. And clearly, Secretary of State Marco Rubio understands that as well. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to fast forward through some of the little talking points because it doesn't, I don't really need to get any further than that. We have been taking actions and moving on it. And when I say we, I mean we have been taking actions and moving on it. CENTCOM announced on February 15th, CENTCOM forces conducted a precision airstrike in northwest Syria, targeting and killing senior finance and logistics official in the terrorist organization Haras al-Din Had, an al-Qaeda affiliate. Airstrike is part of an ongoing commitment, blah, 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 blah. Then we have this, all right? Both the IDF and Al-Hadith confirm that the vehicle hit in Lebanon targeted Mohammed Shaheen, a senior military officer in Hamas's arm inside of Lebanon. This is the aftermath of that airstrike coming up on your screen right now. I see the comment that says Matt high as shit, LMAFO. No, I'm not. What it is I finally been able to start getting some decent sleep. I'm not high at all. I feel good because I've been able to sleep finally. I finally had everything just like way off of me, and I've been able to get some sleep, and I've been able to concentrate and like pay attention to some things that are going on and be able to dig into the weeds and report on this stuff, just like I'm telling you right now. Green Beret nap time. Confirmed Green Beret. Love him to death. Does some really good stuff. B-52 nuclear bombers. B-52 nuclear bombers, ladies and gentlemen. U.S. recently deployed 6 B-52 Stratoforces that are heading to the Middle East, following Iran threatening Israel.
So it could be perfect timing for a strike during sunset, after sunset. The B-52 is continuing to fly towards Iran. Let's see, the combat scent is going to Qatar, maybe. So it could be perfect timing for a strike.
I'm telling you guys, it's not going to be pretty. But it's not just those ones. We also have 2 U.S. Air Force B-52 long-range strategic bombers launched from RAF Fairford, as well as at least 4 KC-135 aerial refueling tankers launched from RAF Middlehall that are currently crossing the Med. All right, this came out a couple hours ago. Currently crossing the Med near Italy, heading in the direction of the Middle East. Check that out. What do you think's coming? What do you think is coming? Now, here's Matt's prediction for all of this that's about to come. My prediction for what is about to come, and I could be wrong, but I'm probably right. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I also hope I'm right. It's kind of weird because I know what it means, but I also know it needs to get done. What my prediction is Israel very soon, unless there is something that happens, is going to enter Gaza, and they're going to clear it from top to bottom, left to right, every crack, crevice, tunnel, everything. And those strategic bombers are going to be either to deter Iran or they're going to be to bomb Iran and keep their butts in check while all of that's going on. Iran can be mad all that they want, but the fact is they have developed nuclear weapons. They have been working on developing nuclear weapons. They have the capability to deliver nuclear weapons. They've been threatening the West. They've been threatening Israel. They've attacked Israel. They've supplied weapons and equipment to terror organizations in order to continue to attack Israel, some of which got interdicted over the weekend. I wasn't even aware of this. Texas actually had to send me the message to show me this. This came out on February 16th. All the different GPS components and stuff that got intercepted going to the Houthis. For what? To continue to attack Israel. Shit that they shouldn't have had. Who do you think's supplying it to them? Where do you think all that's coming from? It's going to end, and it's going to end soon. You have very strong words coming out from Benjamin Netanyahu. You have very strong words coming out from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. You have very strong words coming out from President Donald Trump. The IDF has been, like, their reserve troops have been recalled. They're stacking up and getting ready to smash Gaza, in Matt's opinion. And Netanyahu is certainly making statements to that effect. If you don't think war's coming, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think Gaza is about to actually finally have something to complain about, the Palestinians might actually legitimately have a complaint, you're out of your dang mind. Now, I want to show you guys this because it's good news for the United States of America. It's just a quick step away from Gaza. Give it a listen.
Clear, we're going to put the worst of the worst at Gitmo. And look, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. No one's off the table. If you're in this country illegally, it's not okay. But President Trump has said from day one, we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. You know, Varner, I looked at the numbers today. In the last 24 hours, a total of 229 people were encountered by the Border Patrol on the southwest border. 229. I haven't seen that. I've been doing this job since 1984 as a Border Patrol agent. I've never seen the numbers that low. 229 compared to 11.
That's what you need to hear. 229, lowest on record that he is aware of. 229. Now, Heidi Ropke is asking, true support, Heidi Ropke. She wants to know, what about the hostages? Get them out first? Question mark. Heidi, how many are still alive? If you know that answer, if you know how many hostages are alive in Gaza, 100%, and you have a link, you have some validation for it, drop it down in the chat. They have been murdering those hostages. They've been getting tortured on a daily basis. What are the odds? What are the odds that if we continue to negotiate, more hostages will get killed? This is one of those things that is like a tough call. That's not a good call to make. But after over a year at war, I think it's a pretty fair call to make. Hamas has had every reasonable opportunity to release the hostages, to include a baby. That's not even a baby anymore. It's a toddler. Sad that I have to say that. If he's still alive. Men have been subjected to torture. Men have been subjected to rape. Women have been subjected to torture. Women have been subjected to rape. And every day that goes by, Heidi, and this isn't to pick on you, this is just Matt's opinion. Every single day that goes by, number one, Hamas is able to refit and reorganize. And that means more IDF troops are going to get killed when they go in to finally wipe them off the face of the planet. More IDF troops will lose their lives. Last week, a rocket got fired out of Gaza. Luckily, it had a mechanical failure and splashed down inside of Gaza. And unfortunately, it killed a Palestinian child. You are banking. You are thinking like a Western person. You are thinking like a Western civilized human being, thinking that they will keep them in out of harm's way, that they will take care of them, that they are being treated fairly. And the truth is, there's no way of knowing that. And so now we're comparing lives and we're saying, are more lives going to be lost waiting on this hostage release in the future? Or is it possible that maybe more lives will be saved if we just go in? Because you got to remember, the national policy, like the strategic objective for Gaza, is to ensure the safety of Israeli citizens so that they don't get killed. And so Netanyahu and everybody else has to make really tough decisions right now. And they're not decisions that they want to make. They're decisions that they are being forced to make. They are forced to make those decisions. They are forced to make a decision, and there's no right and there's no wrong in it. They're forced to make a decision whether or not going in now versus waiting is going to save more lives. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Saving lives. And there's no guarantee that any of those hostages are still alive. None. So what would you do? And I don't think there's a right answer, and I don't think there's a wrong answer, but I think there is an answer that Hamas no longer should exist. And if that's the goal at the end of the day, well, shit or get off the pot. So saying we have in America, shit or get off the pot. You're either going to wipe them out and get rid of them, or you're going to sit there and play these games and more people are going to die in the future. Overwhelming violence up front saves lives in the end. And it's time for the overwhelming violence up front. That's my opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me for another live broadcast for Speak the Truth. I will be back tonight, and tomorrow I'm going to start doing taking questions again from our Discord. I unfortunately have a couple things that are extremely pressing that I need to take care of today. Otherwise, I would do it. I want to thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's free. Please consider becoming a true supporter. It costs you about $5. Keeps this show rolling. I love you guys. Peace, love, happiness, and God bless. I am out.